Hello, dear children. Today I am here again to teach you Social Science of Class 7, History, Chapter 2. The name of the chapter is New Kings and Kingdoms, Part 2. In this chapter, we will discuss the following topics. So let's overview the topics. In video part 1, we have discussed point number 1, Introduction, and point number 2, the Rajput period. Today we will discuss point number 3, the Palas of Bengal, and point number 4, Turkish invasions. Children, before starting the next topic, let's recapitulate the topics discussed in video part 1. We discussed about Emperor Harshvardhana's mighty empire in 647 CE, and after his death, his empire broke up into several small states and kingdoms. Then we discussed about point number 2, Rajput period in northern and western parts of India. Major Rajput kingdoms were number 1, Gurjar Pratiharas of Mandor, number 2, the Chauhans of Ajmer, and number 3, the Parmaras of Malwa. After recapitulating the condition in northern and western parts of India, now let's start the next topic, point number 3, the Palas of Bengal in eastern parts of India. Children, take a look at this map. See the eastern parts of India under Palas of Bengal, area shown in blue color. Under this heading, we will discuss about Pala dynasty in eastern side of India. In Hindi, they were known as Pal. Pala dynasty, number 1, King Gopala, number 2, King Dharmpala, number 3, King Devpala, and number 4, King Mahipala. Now, let's see after the death of Harsha in 647 CE, what happened in eastern parts of India? There was a period of confusion in Bengal. In 750 CE, people elected one Gopala as their ruler. Then King Gopala's son Dharampala founded the Pala dynasty in 775 to 810 CE. Under King Dharampala and his son Devpala, the Pala kingdom grew. Their empire included present-day Bengal, Bihar, and parts of Odisha. One of the later Pala kings, King Mahipala, was defeated by the Chola king Rajendra Chola from South India in 1023 CE. Let's talk about the religion of Palas. The Palas were Buddhists by religion. From one of the most important sources of information about the religion of Palas, we come to know that though they were the followers of Buddhism, the Palas also encouraged the building of temples. They were the last major Indian dynasty to embrace Buddhism. There are some remarkable things to know about Pala dynasty. The famous university at Nalanda was revived by the patronage of the Palas. King Dharampala established a famous Buddhist monastery and college at Vikramshila. The Pala dynasty ended in 12th century CE and the Sena dynasty ruled over Bengal and the east until 1245 CE. Now let's start new topic number 4, Turkish invasions. Under this heading, we will discuss about number 1, Mahmud of Ghazni, number 2, Muhammad Ghori. Children, in previous video, we have discussed about the growth of Rajputs after the death of Emperor Harshvardhana in northern and western parts of India, area shown in pink color in map. They resisted the coming of Arabs and Turks from western direction of India. They protected their land with strong patriotism. Children, but the success of the Rajputs against the Arabs in the 8th century CE gave them a false sense of security. Therefore, the Rajputs were caught unaware by the Turks and Afghans who invaded India towards the end of the 10th century CE from the western direction. The Turks were a tribe from Central Asia, Ghazni, Afghanistan. The Turks and Afghans came to India through the passes in the mountains of the northwest. Now, first of all, let's discuss about Mahmud of Ghazni. An ambitious Turkish chief called Sabuktigin, the Amir of Ghazni in Afghanistan, began raiding India. Raiding means sudden attack on the enemy. There were some causes of raiding India. Number one, in India there were many fragmented states or kingdoms. Fragmented means India was not united. Number two, Turks were attracted by tales of the riches of India. Riches means wealth of India. One of the Sabuktagin's sons, Mahmud of Ghazni, attacked India many times between 1010 to 1026 CE. Mahmud of Ghazni looted India and took back vast wealth from India to his country Ghazni, Afghanistan. Mahmud of Ghazni conquered Kangra, Mathura, Kannauj, Thanesar, Gwalior, and Somnath. However, Mahmud of Ghazni was not interested in ruling the areas he conquered in India. So he went back to his country Ghazni after taking wealth from India. Then, after 1.5 centuries, Muhammad Ghori established Muslim rule in India. Muhammad Ghori was a general under the Ghorid dynasty. Ghor in Afghanistan was vassal state of Ghazni Empire. In Afghanistan, when Ghaznis started weakening, the Ghoris declared their independence in 1160 CE, and in 1173 CE, Muhammad Ghori became governor of the province of Ghazni. After becoming governor of Ghazni, Muhammad Ghori then conquered Multan, Peshawar, and Lahore. These conquests brought Ghori into conflict with Prithviraj Chauhan of Delhi. As seen earlier, he inflicted a crushing defeat on Prithviraj Chauhan in the Second Battle of Tarain in 1192 CE. Thus, it established the beginning of Muslim rule in India. Children, there were many reasons for the success of the Turks in India. Number one, the main reason was there was the lack of unity among the Rajput chiefs in India. Number two, the Turkish army was better organized and better led. Number three, the Turkish army was better mounted than the Indian forces. Mounted means riding a horse. Number four, the fast moving horses used by the Turks in battle gave them a great advantage over the slow moving elephants favored by the Indian rulers. Due to all these reasons, Turks established Muslim rule in India. That is why this second battle of Tarain is believed to be a turning point in the history of India. So children, that's all for today. See this video carefully to understand about Palas in the east of India and Turkish invasions from the west of India. In the next part, we will discuss about the kingdoms of the Deccan and South India. Till then, take care. Goodbye.